Today we're going to be talking about air masses. An air mass is a large body of air with similar temperature and humidity. So what is humidity? Humidity deals with how much water vapor is in the air. So if you have an area that's dry, that means it has very little water vapor in the air. A moist environment is going to be an area that has lots of water vapor in the air. And then the temperatures could either be cool or warm. Air masses are named based on the areas that they form over. If it forms over land, it is called a continental air mass, and it would be dry because there's very little water that can evaporate up into the air and become water vapor. A maritime air mass is very moist or humid. There's lots of water, so lots of water can evaporate and become water vapor in the air around those. A polar air mass forms over areas that are cold, like our poles. So the air over those would either be cool or cold. A tropical air mass forms in areas near the equator where it's warm or hot. So let's put them together and we get the types of air masses. So if we add humidity and temperature, we get those names together and come up with the names of the air masses that we have. So a continental polar air mass is an air mass that forms over land near the poles. So it would be both cool and dry. In the United States, the continental polar air mass that most directly affects the United States would come from above us from Canada, and that would come down into the United States. So that air coming from the continental polar area would be cool and dry. Continental tropical, that means that it forms over land near the tropics, and this type of air mass would be warm and dry. Continental tropical air masses that affect the United States usually come up from Mexico. So that area forms over the land where it's warm and it brings warm, dry air up into the United States. Maritime polar air masses form over water near the poles. So this air over these areas would be both cool and humid. The United States is unique. We have water on two sides. So we actually have two maritime polar air masses or areas that air masses could form and come into the United States. Maritime tropical. These form over water where it is warm. So it is warm and humid. The United States has two areas near the bottom where warm, moist air can come into the United States. All right, North America is very unique. We have land above and below, and we have water on each side. Also above us is cold temperatures, and below us is more tropical temperatures. So this makes our conditions very unique. In the middle of our country, there's an area nicknamed Tornado Alley because more tornadoes form in the United States than all the other countries combined. And it has to do with this unique situation that we're in. These huge air masses that have different characteristics do not mix. So we have warm, dry air, we have cool, dry air. When those come together, they don't mix together and you get stormy conditions. We also have moist, warm air coming in. So we have all these different air masses coming together in the middle of our country, and this forms very stormy situations. We get fronts from this area, we get tornadoes from this area, and then because the winds move our weather from the west to the east, that weather gets blown out towards the west as well. So this is our air masses, and this is how it affects us here in North America.